All right. I got fingers crossed on both hands. You can't see it right now, but I have my toes crossed. I have audio confirmation. Along the lines of managing expectations, today's live stream might not go well, but it might. So I'll give you a quick update on XSplit on Big B's build. The tech department at XSplit, I've already reported to you my communication with them. They forwarded my information to their developers, and I got a response back from them with a link that I had assumed was an older version of XSplit because that's what they've done in the past, is had me install an older version. But then when I actually installed it, I discovered, aha, this is a newer version that is not even released to the public yet. Well, it's a higher version number. So does that mean they found the problem and fixed it, or they already had it fixed and now they're testing it on me? About 15 minutes before showtime, I did a test recording, just a local recording. I don't know why I didn't think to test that yesterday. Such a Doug. And it did not go well. The recording started running, and then I pushed the button on Stream Deck to stop the recording. The stream button on XSplit dimmed out, but it was still red. And the counter stopped running. It stopped counting seconds, but it looked like it was still recording because it was still red. I went to try to look at the video, and it still had the temporary file name, which means it hadn't been actually closed yet. So then I tried clicking some other things and realized XSplit was totally locked up, except my camera image was visible. I mean, the camera was still showing me as moving. I wasn't locked up or frozen like I have been in the past. I couldn't click on anything in XSplit. So I had to end task, relaunch it. So far, it looks like it's working. No guarantees. Managing expectations. I'm telling you, no guarantees. I do have, not only did I have my fingers crossed, but I do have a part 2 already scheduled. You won't be able to see it on my channel because it's an unlisted live stream. So if we crash, I'll go change that to public. You'll be able to, you should receive a notification for it even before I start it. Oh boy. Greg Guy, first in chat. Wow. Greg, what that means is this is a better show for you than Ken Stout Live because you have a higher percentage likelihood of being first. How about that? Ida Rivera. Hello, the monkeys remind me when I was like 6 and my brother was a fan, never missed a single episode of their show. That is not Ida saying that I look like a monkey. That's because I had a trailer playing before the showtime of the monkeys. Tony Wallow with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Tony. Says good morning. Ida says hello to a couple people. Tony Wallow, Rick Lakes, hello. Greg Guy, Ida, Rick Lakes, Ida, Tony. These people talking to each other a few times. Nova, hello, with an LOL. That was before showtime. It's cold and windy here today for Rick Lakes. And come down here. I don't have this zoomed in quite as large today because the next step larger, then I can't see chat and the video on my other screen. So I'm going to try it at this level of zoom. Alice is here. Hello, Alice. Nova, Darren, Pebbles. Hello. Jonathan says hello to a bunch of peoples. And people saying hellos to each other. William Dawson says hello, and William Dawson is in Zoom. Zoom is open, no waiting room. It's muted right now. Tony says AVDVR good. Jonathan Selden Ball, Rick Lake says hello to the Dougster. Right at 11 o'clock. Let's get back here. Ida says buffering. I'm showing 0 dropped frames. Selden, no buffering. Nova, no buffering. You're an alpha tester. Yes. It's from Greg M. Jonathan, Greg Guy, no buffering. Rick Lake sent you a new version with a patch in it, just a guess. Because it came so quickly, actually, I didn't even realize that they had sent it. I was going back to catch up with some emails because I was kind of falling behind. And the most recent email from them was the chat, the log of our chat. Well, that came not too long after the chat session ended. An older email from what was from the engineering department. So I think the person I was chatting with sent my information to the engineering department or developers, whatever they call them. I think they sent that email back to me before the chat was even completed. So I don't think they put a patch just for me. I think it was an issue perhaps they already knew about, or try this, maybe it'll work. Yeah, I don't know if it was specifically fixing this issue. Jonathan Wintermute, CFWW, Ida, time to restart my computer. It is not even closing the virtual machine. So she's got issues going on. Yeah, let's see, that's 11:03. I'll catch up with chat here and then go over to Zoom. Ran Israel, Sin Vicious, Richard Rogers. I think when I skip over names, it's because I think I already said hello to them. Greg Guy, Jonathan, Rand V. Menor's here, Jonathan Wintermute, Dennis is here, William Dawson, no buffering, da 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 da. And then I'm caught up. So let's go say hello to whoever is in Zoom. And it is only William. William, I'm about to bring you in, so be ready. I'm going to bring you on screen first. You're not on audio yet. Let's see, I will unmute that piece. I will unmute myself. I will turn my video on, see if my camera's there correct. There it is. And then I have to make another change speakers to same as system. Now I should be able to hear William. Hello, William.
Hello.
It worked. I just on pins and needles waiting for you to say something because I can't, when I unmute everything, there's no background noise. Your audio is good. My camera looks a little weird. Let me see if I can fix that. I go into Logitune. I'll show that on screen here. Go into Logitune. And then it shows this camera is connected. Yeah, that just fixed it, didn't it? Did it? Yeah, that fixed it. Looks better now. All I have to do is open that program and click into the camera.
Looks like your camera's having a normal day.
What? Say that again?
It looks like your camera's having a normal day.
Oh, a normal day. Yeah, it must be Tuesday. No, it's not. Rick Lake says lost sound. Never mind, it was me. Okay, it was only him. So other people saying sound is okay, and I'm going to go check it myself. I'm going to go check it. Yep, that's okay. And do you have any comments, thoughts, something to bring to the table? I haven't read through the topics for today yet.
No, but interesting to see how Big Bill's doing now.
Yeah, hopefully that will have fixed it. Now, to give a little more background on that, there have been, I think, 2 occasions in the past where I communicated with their tech support by chat, which, by the way, has been a really, really good experience every time. They have never taken me through, their tier 1, restart your computer and relaunch the program and that bonehead stuff, because I've already done that. But I explained that to them right up front. But anyway, in the past, there have been at least 2 occasions where they gave me a link for an older version of XSplit and told me to install it. When I do that, I just uninstall XSplit and install from the link. It doesn't take long at all. I don't lose anything. All of my settings are still present. And that has fixed things in the past. So when they gave me this link, I assumed right away this was an older version. But when I looked at the actual version numbers, it wasn't. It was a newer version. Um, so, yeah, I guess I'm an alpha tester.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go read over topics for today and see if people have requests. Let's see. Viewer requests is the first one, exploring USB dev view from Nursoft. I think there's been one or two requests for that. That's been in here for a few weeks. This one was for disable auto arrange in File Explorer, and that's been here for a few weeks. Oh, demo Macrium Reflect Backup and Restore. Ken asked me to do that. So actually, I want to start with that first. So I'll just read over the other topics because I'm going to do a full backup and perhaps a full restore on Baby Beast. Actually do it, not just say this is how to do it. Explore managed by organization. Your browser is managed by your organization. Alice said that she was getting that message. I'd like to get pictures from her of those messages. And then Alice also we talked with her last day or two about her all-in-one Lenovo being slow. She's going to send me some pictures or screenshots. I haven't received those yet. She is in the chat room. I don't know if we'll get to that. Well, I don't know if she has that content ready to send to me. Memory integrity cannot be turned on in core isolation on Big Beast build. I think we discovered that last Saturday. I do have what I think is the solution to it. I have not implemented the solution to it because I've kind of been holding on to this to actually show it live. Update on XSplit possible fix. I've already told you that. October commercials. So at the top of the hour, about 48 minutes from now, I'm intending to run a commercial. Last week I started that and I got distracted by the chat room and did not click it. So I did not actually do the commercial last week. Norton LifeLock ending feature for customers on crypto mining. This is from Sin Vicious. I had a couple communications with him through comments on videos, and then he sent me a link, and I discovered that what I was saying was not true. What he was saying was not quite true either. It was the truth of it was somewhere in the middle, and it was really surprising to me. So we may go look at that. And then email topics. Okay, so let me go. I'll quickly say hello to the new arrival in Zoom. Hello, Bobby Warren.
Hey, Doug. Sorry I couldn't make it last weekend. I was busy with family stuff. My grandma had a computer issue, and I got it fixed for her.
Very good. What was the issue?
It popped up an error code saying it was backup all her stuff right before it gets deleted.
Okay. It was an error code saying backup or stuff. It would sound like maybe a hard drive going bad.
Yes, I had to replace. I have to hook her up with another computer with a spare computer she has with all her casino games on it.
Ah, okay. Well, very good. Well done. All right, I'm going to go work on Baby Beast now, and I was intending to prepare this a little bit, but that's around the time when I did the test for XSplit and ran into a problem. So if I go bring up Macrium Reflect here, answer yes. I have Baby Beast doing, I think, daily incremental backups. But Ken Stout would be using the free version of Macrium Reflect. I'm not going to do this update, at least not now. On scheduled backups, we see that, let's see, I've got image full differential, I got files and folders backups running. And these tasks are running. So these are a log of the backups that have been running. I'm not going to go review those right now, but what I want to do is create a new backup in the way that Ken Stout would do it with the free version. So when I click on, let's look over here, create backups and local disk. When you just launch the free version, it should come straight up to this tab for create backups and showing this tab. Now, because I have a hard drive and I have an NVMe, that causes the order of these drives to show up different. You might expect that your boot drive is going to show up on the top line, and that's not always the case. So we look down here and see that this is actually the drive that I'm booting on. And notice there's check marks in everything on both of these drives. We're not going to back up both of these drives. So I'm going to unselect that spinning hard drive that is actually inside the Big Beast build. This one's connected to the Baby Beast motherboard. And we'll create a backup of an image backup of this drive, because I believe that's what Ken's wanting to do, is make an image backup on an external drive. And I think that's just Bobby Warren coming in again. So I'm not going to bring Zoom back up again. So we have the check marks here. And stay quiet, please. And Tim, stay quiet for a little bit. I'm going to stick on this subject. And so then we click on image this disk. And then we have to choose a backup drive. And when Ken does this, my Macrium Reflect has previously backed up to the M drive. So he's going to see a panel in here with a link for select destination, I think is what it's going to say. And he'd have to click on that link to select a destination and then maneuver to the drive that he wants to back up to. In my case, I always create a subfolder called Macrium Backups on whatever either external drive or secondary internal drive that I'm backing up to. And then click OK. And then put in a name for this backup if you don't want to choose the default. The default name for the backup file is going to be image ID, which is basically the name of your computer, and a backup number. Like if you do a full backup and then later do a differential backup, those numbers will increment. I think that Ken is wanting to make a special image backup before he tries doing something risky. And this is a technique that I use often. So I might say something like Doug's computer before massively destroying things. I think I made some typos in there, but that's okay. Whatever description works for you. Then I go into advanced options and I click on auto verify image. I want to check mark here. Look at this verify file system. I believe that one is checked by default so that we're sure that we've got a confident backup. And then click next. And if you're doing a one-time backup, then there's no need to do anything here on the scheduling. If you're wanting to create a scheduled backup for the free version, I would typically choose differential backup set, because you can't do an incremental backup set with the free version. So I'm not going to put any configurations in here because I don't think Ken is needing to. And then click next. And then click finish. Then if this is a one-time backup that I'm doing before I want to do something perhaps that might be hazardous, I'll not save the definition file and I want to go ahead and run the backup now. If this is a backup that you're wanting to run periodically and you did create a schedule for it, then go ahead and save it. I'm going to remove that check mark and then click OK. And there it's off and running, doing its backup. So we'll go check on that later, and it backs up the different partitions individually. So you see this progress down here, that's for the action that it's working on now, and the overall progress hasn't even started yet. Now it's starting to go, and we see that it's now working on the C drive. It's already done the backup for the E drive, which is what is that? System reserve partition is what that is here. Okay. Coming back to Zoom to say hello to Tim. Hello, Tim. Are you there to say hello? Nope. Come into Zoom and walk away from the computer. Right? Is that what you did?
Prophet, are you still there?
No. All right. So I'm going to ask you to remain quiet while I go look at chat, catch up with chat. Jim is catching up in DVR mode. Rick Lakes asked for topic number 4. Switch back over to this screen, see what that is. Demo, Macrium Reflect Backup and Restore. So that is underway. And Rick Lakes 2 says 2 and 4 actually. 2 was USBDeview. That's a software from Nersoft for exploring deeper into information regarding your USB devices. Savita Jim, from your experience, is it possible to permanently boot Zigmanas from flash memory and not just to install it on an internal disk? I'm not even going to try that one because I have no idea what that is. Jonathan asks 4, 5, and 6. Macrium Reflect, managed by organization. We're looking for pictures from Alice about that. I know I've come across that in various places, but I tried to go back and find it and I haven't found it. So I'd like a photo from Alice where she's getting that message. And 6, the all-in-one slow startup. So also waiting for screenshots from Alice on that subject. My Zigmanos boots from an 8 gigabyte. Do I even want to know what a Zigmanos is? Geez. So they're talking back and forth. I'm not going to capture all of that conversation because I don't know what they're talking about. Selden Ball, the free version of Macrium that I have presents the backup options in a full screen window, not a pop-up. I'm running it standalone from a USB if that matters. Yes, that does matter. And I don't know if Ken was going to be running his from a USB memory stick or from an installed version of Macrium Reflect. That does make a difference as to how it opens up. But the concepts are still the same. There's some other minor differences between booted from a USB thumb drive and an installed version. I can't from the top of my head tell you those differences. Let's see. Hellos between peoples. William Dawson, hello. Speedy C, hello. And Jim thinking I sound confused. Was that back at the beginning because he was in DVR mode? Oh, I just heard a chime from Baby Beast. Uh-oh, no free space on the destination. Please select a new destination to continue. See, if I had prepared this in advance, I would have had that ready to go. Now, also on the restore operation, makes a difference as to whether you're using a USB thumb drive to boot from or whether you have an installed version. And I know Ken was going to be on the road, away from home, and perhaps watching this in replay later since he hasn't been in the chat room yet. Is there any point for me to free up the space and go ahead and complete a full backup? I don't see any need to do that. Let's just move on to performing a restore operation. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. That way we'll get this the full cycle. I mean, I really did everything for the backup. All it's got to do is complete. And then at the end of it, it's going to tell you how long it took. And you're done with the backup. So I'm just going to go ahead onto a restore operation. Now, if I come over here to existing backups tab, there's these 3 tabs up here in the upper left area, create backups, existing backups, and logs. So you click on the existing backups. And if it doesn't see your existing backups, you might have to use this link up here to browse for an image to show it where your backups are at. So if we click on that, then scroll to whatever drive you have connected where the backups are, come down here to my Macrium drive, and then double click into the folder and then click Open. And you'll be able to see whatever backups are on that drive. And I have used this many times with my external drive that I use for clients backups. And I can restore images from different computers to whatever computer I'm currently connected to. So here I'm going to see the same list of backups that I see over here, although they're displayed differently. Here I'm seeing, let's see, there's March, February, April. I'm going to click by this date modified column so I can see the recent dates. And I'm seeing the dates of these files, but I can't tell whether those are full backups or image backups, except for looking at the size, because this is basically a file explorer display. Well, the numbering, I think, does give us some clues. Now, if I look over here, I'm going to keep this up. Look over here in this listing over here. This hierarchy gives us a clearer image of full backups and incremental backups. Or yeah, in my case, they're incremental. I'm going to cancel this so that I can browse around this window better. Let's see, here in this definition column, that gives us the definition. The definition that we are using is what's referring to this. If I go back to create backups, the definition files, it's showing the name of the definition that we're using. So the definition I was using is called full differential incremental. So that's all that this column means. It's not telling us whether that particular backup is a full or a differential or an incremental. Over here in the type column, if I make this a little bit wider, I can see which ones are full, which ones are incrementals, and which ones are differentials. And you can see that in this outline, this hierarchy here. So on this level is a full backup. If I come down to another one that's on that level, we'll see that it's also a full backup. And then if I scroll down further, do I have more full backups? Yeah, these down here are full backups. These full backups down here, back when they were the active full backup, they had incrementals underneath them. But as space runs low, it starts folding up the incrementals into the fulls. So each of these fulls contains all of the most recent incrementals, all of the incrementals and differentials that followed the full backup. So now let's come up here and look further into this full backup. So since I have a paid version, I'm doing full backups and differential and incrementals. So there's a couple of incrementals that have happened since the last differential. Here's a differential, and then there are incrementals after that. So if for some reason I wanted to restore my computer to the way it existed on October 14th, I could select to restore this incremental. And what would happen is that would restore that incremental and the differential that goes with it and the full backup that goes with it, just automatically. I don't have to go do them individually. Now, where is, let's see, yes, today was October 21st. So here's the most recent one. Why do I have to go to this level in here? Why isn't the most recent one at the top? Well, the answer to that has to do with this hierarchical structure. It's showing the full backup that is current. This is the most current full backup, which I think was triggered to run the first Monday of each month. Then there was a differential here, and then there's a differential here, and then the incrementals that followed. So this is actually the most recent backup down here. So if you have that kind of hierarchy going on here, it takes a little more understanding as to what you want to restore. So here I'm clicking on the one that I want to restore. For Ken, he would just be clicking on the one full image that he created. I'll click on that one and then click restore. And I'm actually going to do the restore. Hey, let's see. So here's it shows the source. This is the source of the restore operation. And when we look at the detail here, it actually shows the drive letter that this backup is stored on, and it shows the name of that file. And then destination, this is showing the current partitions on my destination drive. Now let's see here, this number, I have to look over at Baby Beast. It shows 208.14 gigabytes in use, and my destination currently has 233.38 gigabytes. Why does it have that much extra if it was a backup that was just completed this morning, was that date, right? I don't care. Where is that one? 1021 right here. And it shows that it completed this morning. Yeah, why did it complete this morning? I have these triggered to run at 11 p.m., I think it is, or 9 p.m., something like that. Well, that's because I had hibernated the computer last night. This backup actually ran when I turned it on this morning. What have I done on that computer this morning that gave that much extra space? I don't know. I don't care. I do trust it. Verify image before I restore. I will click on that checkbox and then click next. And I'm going to take a look at advanced options, although the verify should already be here because I just clicked to verify. I kind of have this innate habit to go double check that and then click finish. And here it's off and running. Now, a reason why I wanted to actually show this is because I actually have Macrium Reflect installed on this computer. I did not boot from a thumb drive. I don't know if Ken is running from an installed edition or a boot thumb drive. It makes a difference as to how this works right here. This is saying Macrium Reflect build rescue media boot menu. This restore must be completed in the Windows PE rescue environment. Do you want to build rescue media and add a boot menu now to automatically restore? What is this boot menu? What it is some of you remember back in the days of, how far back do we have to go? Is it Windows 98? Where you could press the F8 key during boot and you could choose to boot in like safe mode or boot from a different partition or a different operating system. This puts a different boot drive temporarily on your disk, so it actually boots from the hard drive in this restore environment, this Windows PE environment. So I'm going to say yes to that. So it creates that boot restore menu, which we're actually not going to see that. It's going to happen in the background. Oh, there's Ken Stout. He's using a installed version. So this is the experience that he would have during a restore operation. All right, I'm looking at chat. I'm not going to bring it up on screen because I want to see when this next step comes up. Jim seems confused. Not often I confound Doug. I'm looking at 11:24 in the chat. You can turn timestamps on if you want to follow me. Dennis says Sigma NAS. Oh, Sigma Network Attached Storage. I see. Sin Vicious. Can you explain why OneDrive sends me monthly emails of memories of a particular day? That is kind of Microsoft trying to be like Apple, because in the Apple world, for a long time, Apple has sent these video montages or photo montages, and Facebook does that also. So this is Microsoft trying to be like the other kids on the block, the cool kids on the block. I suspect you can turn that off. I haven't gone to look how to turn that off in OneDrive. Then Jim gives a Sigma NAS. Oh, that's what he was confounding me about, was this Sigma NAS page. I just clicked over to that to have a look at that. I'm not showing that to you yet. So demeanor, did you hear on NAS system, free NAS, true NAS, also Sigma NAS? Okay, I don't use the NAS. I don't have a need for it. I use essentially OneDrive for my shared content. Here we have this menu showing now. I'm going to look over at Baby Beast to read this. The following drive is in use and the restore cannot continue. Not quite true. Windows PE restore option, automatic boot. Automatically boot into Windows PE. This option is only available when you have enabled the boot menu option in Macrium Reflect. When I first came across that, that was a little confusing to me. Are you saying that's something I have to go do? No, this is automatically happening by virtue of going through these steps. After restore, reboot. So after by having this choice set on reboot, what that means is it's going to perform the restore in the Windows PE environment. When it finishes, it's automatically going to reboot the computer into the restored edition of Windows that you just restored. If you don't want it to do that, if you want it to stay in the Windows PE environment so you can have a look at it, then you can change this to not set. Or you could have it just shut the computer down. I have many times performed this procedure remotely on a client's computer, meaning restore their computer to a backup and then let it run. When the computer restarts into the Windows PE environment, I don't get to see that remotely. So I will wait for an hour or two, 4 hours the next day before I can reconnect to the computer and see that it successfully completed. I have never had to go out to their office to fix it due to not completing the operation. Select Run from the Windows PE to automatically run this restore next time Windows PE starts. So we just click on this button here. So not making any changes on this window, just explaining a little bit. So clicking on that, and then we get a confirmation. Click Restart Now to restart your PC and continue running restore process. If you have enabled Windows PE mode, then this will happen automatically. Now I'm taking a look down at my taskbar to see if I have any open programs. The only thing open there is File Explorer. That won't cause any problems to this working. So I'll click Restart Now and then hands off the mouse and it's restarting. Now, because I'm connected through my capture card to Baby Beast, we should be able to see it reboot into the Windows PE environment, and we should be able to see it perform the restore operation and then reboot the computer afterwards without me interacting with it at all. I'm going to leave that on screen while I'm reading through more of the chat. Ken's driving Miss Daisy from Brian. Greg M. Sorry, was busy having a discussion with someone. Ken says, yup. Yeah, more chit chat. Greg Guy, Wintermute, because you are opted in at Sin Vicious, maybe some help here. Okay, that was Wintermute giving a link to Sin Vicious about the email memories. I'm clicking on that link to see what's going on. On your screen, you see Macrium Reflect loading networking. It actually hasn't completed loading into Macrium Reflect yet. There's Macrium Reflect. Automatic restore is about to start. I'm not clicking anything. Honest engine. I'm not clicking anything on that screen. In fact, I should move keyboard and mouse away from me. Step away from the mouse. And now it's running. I had it in mind to check in advance how long was this going to take. I did not check up on that. Let's see, we've got, looks like 208 gigabytes that it's going to restore. So I expect it'll be done before the live stream is over, unless XSplit crashes on me, right? Continuing in chat, I'm at 11:27. Brian Lightfoot to Greg Guy. I got busy doing something else and missed first 20 minutes in DVR mode catching up. From Greg M, why would you not do full backup followed by incrementals? I do. Okay. With the paid version, I can do differentials. If you do incrementals, if you do like 30 days worth of incrementals, and then you want to restore from like the 29th day, then Macrium Reflect is going to have to access all of those incremental files. So the restore operation is going to take longer. That's the main advantage that I see to having the differentials occur, so that a restore operation is quicker. Now, there might be other reasons for it. To be honest with you, I haven't looked deeper into that. Oh, also the incrementals. Let's see, differential. No, did I say that wrong? With the free version, you do differentials. You cannot do incrementals. I'm not sure if that's the way I said it. So if all you have is differentials, then those differentials during the course of a month get bigger and bigger and bigger because they are backing up everything that has changed since the last full backup. Incrementals are only backing up what has changed since the last incremental. Why would you not do full backup followed by incrementals? You'd have to have the paid version to do that. And then why not just do incrementals instead of doing periodical differentials? The only thing I can think of is the amount of time that a restore would take. Zvi Menor, Tehran, Israel, I know that, let's see. I'm going to skip over the chit chat between them. Ken Stout says he's using the installed version. Sin Vicious, thank you, Wintermute. I also unsubscribed to Microsoft Store, but only swept the OneDrive emails to the delete file. Let's see, skipping through, chit chat between people. Josh Kinder says hello. I just saw the green graph, I think, recycle again. Hellos between people. Josh Kinder, I will be in when I am done eating. Wintermute to Sin Vicious, may need to revisit this page multiple times. Settings don't always stick. And that is a link directly to OneDrive.com. So it's going to my OneDrive, apparently. Oh, send me email when. Oh, all right. Here's what that is. Send me email when people make changes on this day. Memories are available. So you can remove that check mark. OneDrive detects large number of files are deleted. Daily summary communication directed at me in the loop product. I'm going to go ahead and leave that on for me, which oddly, what that means is a lot of times I get pictures of computer screens from clients' offices, because that's mostly what my pictures are, of computer issues. Continuing in chat, 1140, Josh Kinder eating. Lawn Dog Doug, I'm glad you're reviewing how to look at the backup history in Macrium, though I'm seeing some odd things with my quick inspection. How did you get to your backup files and view them in the actual Macrium program? Let's see. That's existing backup tabs that I'm showing now is the way to do that. And then let's see. Oh, I can't do it that way because I'm not clicking on that computer. Oh, that's interesting. The Baby Beast monitor is dark right now. That's because I don't have Windows, regular Windows on, and screen duplication. Interesting. So when I restarted it, the capture card took priority. Guess I didn't realize that was going to happen. Next thing is incremental are a lot smaller, and what I do is a full backup every week with incrementals with the paid version. Was it Greg M that had asked that question previously? Yeah, it was. Thing is, incrementals are a lot smaller, and what I do is a full backup every week with incremental. That's fine. I don't see anything wrong with doing that. And I have done that. Oh, okay. Well, here's the downside of doing that. That means that every week you're doing a full backup. At some point, you're going to fill up your backup drive. So you're not going to be able to reach farther back into time. You're not going to be able to reach back like 8 months ago, perhaps, depending upon when you run out of space. Because every week you're doing a full backup, and that takes a lot more space. So I do a full backup once a month, incrementals during the week, differentials on each Monday. So I can reach back farther into time. Doug, why would you ever want to do that? Well, if I discover something that I think was running better for me way back then, I could restore an image from 10 months ago and see how the computer was operating then for whatever reason that I might be wanting. I have done that. Rare, but I have done that. That's the reason for choosing that strategy. It's not important. Whatever you feel attracted to, I think, is a fine choice. I see Josh on screen. Let's go say hello to Josh. Hello, Josh.
Hi, Doug. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I like your office space there.
You
That's
like what?
nice. Your office space. That's a nice looking desk you got.
Thanks. If I only had it, I need more room.
Yeah. What microphone are you using now? It's not as good as you've been in the past.
The Blue Yeti.
The Blue Yeti? Oh, it's a lot better when you turn your face towards the microphone. All right. Did you have any topics to bring up?
No, but I wanted to get with you and Alec because I can't log into my computer from my amp house, from my group home. We're using any desk. I can't seem to log into my computer from my amp house.
All right.
We can do that whenever.
Well, I think Alex would be a lot better to help you with that because I'm not nearly as experienced with AnyDesk as he is, and he knows your computers a whole lot better. So if he's available to do that, I think that's a good way for you to go.
Okay.
All right. Let me get back over here to this restore operation, see how it's going. Current progress, 45%. Notice overall progress is still showing 0%. That's a little hard to believe. Oh, that's because it's on verifying. Remember, I turned on verifying, so it's going to take longer. If I didn't turn verify on, which sometimes I don't turn verify on when I'm restoring, because if the computer fails to operate after restoring, then I can just go restore again and turn verify on. So I don't feel it's quite as important to use verifying when restoring. That should still finish by the time or before this live stream ends, so I'm okay with that. Let's see, some Lawn Dog comments here, so I'm going to keep the restore on screen. I'll read through Lawn Dog's comments. I'm seeing something different if I go to my other drive, which has its own drive letter, and go to the location for the backups. I'm seeing some different files. In fact, it's only a few weeks files versus what I see if you in Macrium itself. I can apparently go all the way back to the day I started it. Seems odd and was some investigation by me. Macrium Reflect, the Restore tab, might be showing you the logs of what it has, what it knows about, rather than what's on that particular drive. When you said in the previous comment, if I go to my other drive, are you going to the other drive in File Explorer or through the Macrium Reflect? So what do they call it? Search for file or whatever they call it. And continuing with Lundog's third comment there, Doug, at this time, don't do much exploring about my question. Do not. Okay, come on. You people know me well enough. Do not ask me a question and say, Doug, don't respond to this question. Are you kidding me? That doesn't happen. Doug, at this time, don't do much exploring about my question. I'm still seeing some odd things with my backups in Macrium concerning the differentials, but I'm not ready to cry out yet. You just did. Doug, do you believe the structure of the backup view through Macrium should be any different from going directly to the drive and the location, viewing the files using that method? Should there be any difference? Yes, there's a big difference. If you go look from File Explorer, it's going to look very different because Macrium Reflect is able to understand the content of those files, and it is displaying them to you differently. Now, Lundog, I don't know if you've been here the whole time because I did go through some, I did show what it looks like through File Explorer and how that's different than it shows in Macrium Reflect. So yeah, I was pointing out those differences. So I'm thinking you weren't watching at that time or weren't paying attention at that time. And he says, Macrium Reflect might be showing me the log files. That would be weird. Not just the log files, but it's showing it has intelligence about the content of those files. That would be weird. What would be the purpose of that if the files are not actually on the backup drive location? Well, I don't know that they aren't there. If you'll send me a screenshot of that folder in File Explorer and a screenshot of what it looks like in Macrium Reflect, I could give you a better answer on that. And this is something I want to do, Lundog. This is useful content for my channel. To tell me that's something that you're looking at and then not let me pursue it. One of these days, Alice, bam. I'm sorry, Alice. I didn't mean you, Alice from our chat room. That was a reference to Jackie Gleason's show, which is not politically correct these days. I know. Sorry. Nope, I haven't been here the whole time. I was working on my car. I've only been here 20 minutes trying to catch up fast. Yeah, so if you go back and look through that part, that'll probably give you an answer. I'm caught up in chat. Now Lundog's next comment. When it comes to working with computers, Doug, and sending files and taking pictures of things, I'm still in training, but I'll work on my assignment. Okay, there's a thing I can go show them. I'm going to bring up File Explorer. That went onto the wrong screen. Come over here. And all right, so now I'm going to File Explorer and I'm coming to the backup drive for Big Beast build, Macrium backups. So what I want a screenshot from you is go into that folder using File Explorer, make sure these columns are appropriate width, and then come up, move your mouse up here to the upper left-hand corner of this area. You could come all the way up to the upper left-hand corner on your screen. That's not too important, but actually if you do that, then I'll know what folder you're in. So let's go from here. And then Windows Shift S. And the screen kind of grays out. I don't know if you guys are seeing it kind of grayed out on the stream. And then draw a rectangle across all of this. And then let go of your mouse button. Now, what I like to do, let's see, since I'm saying do this into an email, you can just go straight to an email. You don't have to go to Paint program or use the clipboard saving as a file and all of that. I'm going to take that off screen for a moment. I'll give you back to Baby Beast. I'm going to bring up a new email. You don't need me to show you how to create a new email.
Yo, did you get a new hard drive or what?
Did I get a new hard drive?
Yeah.
No, why are you asking that?
I'm just curious what you're doing. I know you're restoring it, but I don't know why.
Well, that's because you haven't been here all along, and I'm not going to repeat that. You can go back and watch the show from the beginning.
Okay.
Although actually I will repeat that in a little bit. Let me get this new email going. Okay, come on. All right, now make this big. All right, so here. So you're gonna put in my email address and then just come into the body of the email and Control V to paste the last thing that you took a picture of. Then Alt Tab to get back to your File Explorer and scroll down so that this file is now on the top. That way, if you give me a picture with this file at the bottom and then give me a picture with this file at the top, that way I know you're not skipping any files. So we'll go to where that one's at the top, and we'll use the scroll bar to get it to the top. Windows Shift S, and then now we'll just take the files themselves, and then Alt Tab to get back to that email. And the cursor is automatically blinking down here at the bottom. Control V for paste. And then press your down arrow key or enter key to get to a new line. Alt Tab to go back to your File Explorer. And now I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom. So I don't know which file here was at the bottom, but I'll just pick and copy through here. Alt Tab and then Control V. So there's your copy and paste, screenshot and paste for sending me an email. Sending files, taking pictures of things, still in training. So that's your training. Now I'll scroll up and then click on this blue arrow to see if there's other chat messages. No, there aren't. Back to Baby Beast and see how the restore is going. And this is still verifying that backup file. Now I'll go back to this File Explorer. Oh, I see these 3 dots here. That's because this column isn't wide enough. So you might want to scroll up and down and make sure it's wide enough for all of this. And what do we have here? Looking at these files, error loading. What are all these error loadings types? That looks like some kind of troubles. Oops.
Your advertisement timer is done.
Hang on. I'm going to mute the microphone so I can call out her name. Stop the timer.
Echo, what's the notification?
One new notification from Amazon.
All right, I just muted Josh. Now, let's see, where was I at? Oh, commercial time. So I'm going to trigger the live stream to play a commercial now. I've told you before, if you haven't heard this before, through October, I'm testing this on the Saturday show because I have some curiosities about it. And last week I went in here to do that and then got distracted and didn't actually play the commercial. So while the commercial's playing, I'm not going to do anything of significance. Those of you who have the Prime version or the red version, whatever, you pay for YouTube, you should not see the commercial. Those of you who are free version without ad blockers, you should see the commercial. If you have ad blockers, then the expectation is that you're not seeing the commercial. So I'd like you to tell me in chat how this works out, what you see or what you don't. I'm going to come over here and show you. I click on this money thing, enable monetization to insert ads. What? Are you saying I didn't monetize this video? It's not letting me click to insert ads. This shows monetization is on. Insert mid-roll ads manually. I have that set right. Done. Nothing on there. This isn't clickable. Focus on your live stream. Let YouTube insert ads for you. Maybe I need to dismiss this message first. Does that make this clickable? It says enable monetization to insert ads. I'm going to try refreshing this screen. Duplicates. Oh, I'm on the part 2. This isn't the live stream. Here's the live stream. Yeah, now this is clickable. So I was showing you the wrong stream. Insert ad. Ads inserted. So it should be running now. That was simple. All right. Let's see, back to the restore operation and bring up chat. I'm not seeing any new chat messages yet. 11:52 is my last chat message. Stream still running. And I don't know how long the commercial goes. William Dawson, 0 ad here. So he did not see an ad. But William, do you pay for YouTube or do you have an ad blocker? A Dixon funnel ad, Chrome plus uBlock, no ad for Wintermute. Selden Ball, free version of YouTube without ad blocker, immediately played skippable ad, 2 ads. First was political, second about shopping. demeanor, no ad with origin. uBlock, or I think that's uBlock origin. William Dawson, no, not free, and no ad blocker. Oh, and he said 0 ad. He's not using the free version, no ad blocker, and he didn't get an ad. Ken Stout got ads on the phone, ran Israel, Edge with no ad blocker, no ad. Edge with no ad blocker, no ad. Were you on a paid version of YouTube? Sin Vicious, zilch on Opera with ad blockers. I think Opera has a built-in ad blocker, isn't it? So we do have information about ads that were played. Ran Israel is a free version with Edge, no ad blocker, no ad. Okay. Sin Vicious says yes, that it's a built-in ad blocker. Are the ads all done? Give me a 1 in chat if the ads are done. I suppose if somebody's seeing an ad that they don't hear me asking that. Jonathan is premium with no ads. Looking back at the restore operation at current progress. Now we have an overall progress at 2%. Current progress is 23%. The verifying is done. We've seen it do these verifications and see all these different file numbers. These are all the different incremental backups that it had to verify. So that's another part of why it takes longer if you have a lot of incrementals or a lot of differentials that it has to do. So it was having to evaluate all of the incrementals and whatever differentials have occurred since the last full backup, which had been the first Monday of the month. So those verifications went through all of these. So this 00, that was a full backup. This 14-14, 15-15, I believe those were all incrementals. Oh, I can't drag that around. I don't want to use Baby Beast's mouse to drag that window aside to look at these file names below because I want to show you that it's all hands off. Stream resumed after ads but was no longer live. So Selden, did you it resumed then with me talking through the ad experience? So you were then behind. You can use shift period key. Is that the right key? Shift period key to speed up. Let's go demonstrate that. If you're catching up in DVR mode, so here if I go back now, shift period, see that 1.25? Shift period again, 1.5, 1.75. So that's a method you can use to click to catch up rather than just clicking the live button. So when you're just behind because of the commercials, you can do that shift period to catch up. If you want to take a break, go get a refreshment or something, go to the restroom, you could click pause during a live stream. When you come back, click play and then use shift period to speed up, shift comma to slow back down. And once it gets caught up, it'll automatically go back to normal speed because obviously you can't play 1.5 speed if you're caught up.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
thinking of the ad, I have a weird problem on my iPhone with YouTube. When I would watch people's live feed, every time there was an ad, the YouTube app would close and I would have to reopen it.
Well, that's weird. Are you actually using the YouTube app or are you using a browser on your phone?
I'm using the YouTube app.
And so when you are watching somebody on live stream and it would display an ad, that would cause the YouTube app to close. Are you using any kind of an ad blocker?
No.
All right. Well, my first resort there would be to uninstall the YouTube app and reinstall it and
Yeah, I
see
did
if you
find
still
it
have.
weird.
Yeah. All right. Checking on the restore operation. Thank you for muting yourself when you're not talking. Then, yeah, there's a restore going. Oh, and it's showing it's processing those individual files. It looks like, oh, looking for changes. Restore operation, verifying. So here's the full backup, verifying those incrementals. Now it's going a whole lot at the end. So now it finished that. I'm not clicking anything. This is all still automatically running. The PC will reboot, and it's going to reboot into that restored image. Now, I just realized I forgot to do something I was planning to do. I was going to go delete a bunch of icons from my desktop before doing the restore operation so that I could prove to you that it was actually restoring. I forgot to do that. Yeah, well, such a Doug. There, the reboot is finished. Then I grabbed the keyboard for Baby Beast, press enter, put in my PIN number, and there is a complete demonstration of backup and restore. I would recommend anybody who hasn't been through this process before, take the opportunity on a computer that you feel that you're secure with, meaning you've got good backups. Maybe it's not even your main driver, maybe not your main computer. Do a backup on a computer that maybe somebody's replaced and you have their old computer in your possession. Do a backup, then delete a bunch of icons from the desktop and do a restore so that you actually experience the full round trip yourself, so that you can gain confidence that whatever backup software you're using, I don't care which software it is, that you have experienced the full process. Catching up with chat, 0 ads, a Dixon flannel ad, Chrome uBlock no ad, free without ad blocker, immediately played skippable ad, 2 ads. Did I already read through this? Yeah, I already read through most of this. Premium no ads, stream resumed after ads but was no longer live. That's where I was at. Premium no ads, 1 ad done. I use the on-screen live button to skip immediately, not DVR speed up mode. You didn't miss anything. I know that's what a lot of you say regarding my live streams in general. I hear that on the Ken Stout live show often. Ken will ask, did I miss anything? I didn't see Doug's show. Did I miss anything? People say, nah, you didn't miss anything. Then I go cry in my pillow. Just kidding. Ads? We don't need no stinking ads. Firefox and uBlock Origin. All right. Where are we at? There's some people in Zoom. Wow, look at that chair. That is a awesome looking chair at Josh's desk. Weird. Looks like his knees will be above the desk. Yeah. Clear ye old throat. All right, where do we go next? Let's see. So I've finished with the backup and restore. There were other topics requested. I haven't seen anything from Alice regarding the pictures she was going to send. Looking at my email to make sure it's not there. So I guess that subject will be deferred. Which that's fine, Alice. Don't take that as a complaint. Use your own timing. Now, USBDeview was requested. Reflect backup. Alice's things were requested. None of these others were requested. So USBDeview, I'd say, is next. Is there any update on topic requests? This is a good time to put them into chat. If not, I'm going to go do USBDeview from Nursoft. I'm just going to highlight that, Control-C, copy, go to a new tab, Control-V, paste. There's a Nursoft link, view any installed connected USB device on your system. I believe I have already downloaded this, but I'm going to show the full process. And I think I recall when I first looked at this, I didn't see where to do the download, and somebody gave me that information later. Device, these are column descriptions. Vendor ID, let's see, download. Vendor name, product column name. Starting from this version, in order to use this feature, you have to download USB IDs. Is it all the way at the bottom? Start download. Nope, that's an advertisement. Almost got tricked there. Here we go. Download USBDeview. Download USBDeview for x64 systems. That kind of implies that one's a 32-bit, but I'm thinking it might be for both. Looks like this is the one we want. That download happened real quick. I'm going to take that off screen for a moment while I bring up my downloads folder, because sometimes I have file names in there that reveal client details. I don't see that. So here I'll take USBDeview, right click on it, cut it from here. Now, of course, you could extract it right here. That's going to create a subfolder in your downloads folder. That's not very good technique. So I'll cut it from there. Then I'll go to a folder that I like to use for utilities that I want to actually use on this computer. I'll expand the C drive, click on SW Setup, come out here into the blank area. I don't want to right click around here where I have all these folders, because then it's going to paste it into one of those folders. So I'll either come out to here or scroll down to the bottom below the folders and right click, and then choose paste. That gives us the zip file here. Right click on it and extract all. By default, it's going to create a folder in the current location using the name of the zipped file, and that's fine. I'll extract that, and it'll open that folder. So I'm actually in the folder now where this extracted file is. Then double click on it to launch it. And the topic that I had for this was to explore this. This is a tool that somebody brought us to regarding something we were working on a few weeks ago. I don't recall what it was. Oh, we were talking about power consumption of USB ports. And I think it was specifically when I was talking about a client who plugged in their external backup drive and then their keyboard and mouse stopped functioning or was intermittent and problematic. And what was the problem is that they plugged in that USB external drive, or it might have been a thumb drive that they were plugging in close proximity to the USB transceiver for their wireless keyboard and mouse. And the suspicions that are on my mind at this point is that there was radio interference, electrical EMI interference, I should say, electromagnetic interference, between those two devices. And what I had her do was unplug the USB transceiver from the back of the computer and plug it into a front port of the computer, and that solved the problem. Now, in that case, I just remember this, the way I described that, you're picturing a tower computer. All right, tower computer. That's not what it was. This was a mini computer mounted on the back of the monitor, but the wireless keyboard and mouse was plugged into the USB ports on the back of that computer adjacent to the other USB devices. So she unplugged the transceiver from there and put it into a port on the front side of that mini computer, which was mounted on the back of the monitor. Somebody else speculated that it could be that the two devices were plugged into the same USB channel. The same USB channel has a limited amount of power that it can support. So in the case of a thumb drive, or in the case of an external backup drive that is taking its power from the computer, from the USB connection, then it would be extra power draw. In the case of my client, the external backup drive had an AC adapter that was providing the power. So I don't think it was a power issue there, but I believe that is what brought us onto this. So somewhere along here, there is a column that tells us about the power usage. Lots of columns. Power. Here's the power column. Now I'm going to try holding down the mouse button and see if I can just, yes, I can move that column over. Now, if I try to drag it further across, will it scroll? It will not scroll. Now, sometimes when you can rearrange columns, you can right-click and rearrange them easier in here. So I'm looking to see choose columns. And yeah, this will work. So now I'm looking for, let's see, where's power here? Save to unplug, drive letter, vision, find power in here. Is there a find? Don't see a find. Let's see, it's called power. Now, dragging this down is kind of slow. If I click in this gray area between the scroll box and the arrow, it's going to go down one screen worth. So notice USB protocol is on the bottom. If I click here once, now USB protocol is just barely off the top. Here's power. So I can click on power and then move up. And this is an easier way to move it up. Just that'll move it all the way up to wherever I want, and then click OK. So if that's what I'm really interested in, I can arrange the columns that way. So this shows what USB devices are taking up power. Now, if I click on the column heading, I'm expecting, just because this is a normal capability of any Windows program, I should be able to sort this database, this list of stuff, in order by this column. So I click once on this column header, and I see a little triangle that indicates that it's showing me the lowest draw at the top and the highest at the bottom. The rest of these, there is no power draw being used or being reported. Notice here there's a webcam. That webcam has to be drawing some power because there's no other power source for the webcam. It has to be using power. So it's just not being reported, or it's, I guess, an insignificant amount might be a reason. But we don't have that information. So here my highest power draw is from my Logitech StreamCam. That is one of my webcams. That is the most expensive webcam that I'm using, and it is this one that you're looking at me. Stream Deck is taking that much power. So depending upon what you're trying to fix with your computer or evaluate, you might want to come into this column chooser and bring the columns that you're interested in looking at to the top here so that they're visible on one screen. Now let's go see what chat is saying. Number 6, unacceptable. I'm out of here. Number 6, what was that? Is that the one we're talking about? Oh, 6. Yeah, that we don't have the information on Alice's computer today. So you're out of here because we're not. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's the only reason you came. Speedy C, topic 8. You can grab all the utilities from Nursoft. If you wanted them all, I've kind of evolved to not grabbing everything, because until you really start working with these utilities, if I grab everything, like the Mark Rusinovich's stuff, can't think of it. Somebody's going to give me that name. Mark Rusinovich, that whole stuff. I've had all of those stuff, and I've explored a few of them, and there's only a small number of them that I use anymore. So I've kind of steered away from just grabbing the entire pack of things. Speedy C is asking for topic number 8. Update on XSplit, possible fix. I did explain that at the beginning of the show. And that was that the developers sent me a link for what I thought was an older version of XSplit, because that's what they've done in the past, but it turned out to be a newer version of XSplit. So far, well, I installed that yesterday. So today, after yesterday's live stream, I installed it. So this is the first live stream with that new edition. And I did have a problem with it before starting the live stream today. I did a test local recording. And when I went to end that recording, it did not end gracefully. I wound up gracefully. I had to end task on XSplit and then relaunch it just a few minutes before starting this show. Alice says, useful info, sysinternals, of course, and auto runs is one of the ones that I use. And also Process Explorer, I'm enthusiastic about, but I haven't wound up using it a whole lot. And Process Monitor, I've explored and am enthusiastic about it, but haven't actually wound up using it for real purposes. But I'm enthusiastic about it for troubleshooting issues. All right. I do have something else on my agenda for today. So if we wind up, oh, wait a minute, what is this? Norton Live. Oh yeah, this is today's show. If we wind up with an opportunity to end the show early, I might take that opportunity. So I'm looking for anything in chat that is bringing up any other subject or comments. Otherwise, I just might go ahead and end the show. Norton LifeLock. Oh, let's go look at. I'll go look at this. Here's what I was surprised about. I'm going to go remind myself how this came to my attention. I believe it was Sin Vicious. I think he's with us in chat. Oh, well, actually, there's another thing here from Sin Vicious. I'll go ahead and show this. This was not on the list of topics. So this is bonus. I think the picture that I showed recently from Tim Sowell about that AI-generated server room that had the crazy wiring, then Sin Vicious sent this photo, and the subject line was before AI. He says this was shared around more than a decade ago. I can show this. This was shared around more than a decade ago. Funniest solution of downloading Adobe Reader really didn't work. This person says, I think I might need tech support. This is no longer in the scope of tech support. The power of the Holy Spirit and a really good exorcist is what you need. All you got to do is download Adobe Reader. So here it looks like we have the backside of a tower computer. We can see here where the back connects with a screw, and then this looks like the side of the case. And this junk, this ugly stuff in the midst here looks like what happened to this person's computer when they downloaded Adobe Reader. It's a little bit weird over here, the keyboard and the monitor. It looks like this is really a funky composed picture here. Is this the 4-color emblem of an earlier version of Windows? Yellow, red, blue, green? Yeah, so anyway, that's that. Sin Vicious in chat says, LOL, yes. Did I miss a mention, Alice? Let's see. Did I miss a mention? Yeah, well, you're in the list. You saw your name in the list. I'm waiting on photos from you, Alice. We talked the other day about you making a video of your startup time and sending me some screenshots. And let's see, on this other topic also regarding you're managed by organization, your browser is managed by your organization. I'd like you to send me a screenshot or a photo of that so that we can discuss that issue along with your slow startup. But I'm deducing that you're not ready to do that yet because I haven't received that those photos. Jim, mouse in my left hand, mouse in my right hand, busy day. Yes. Oh, yes. I will send the info next week. And thanks. Yeah. And that's fine. That's fine on your timing. No pressure. I just put those on there in case you were ready to do it. Now, I didn't get to, and I'm gonna come back to Zoom shortly, so I'll be right with you. But I want to get back to the other thing from Sin Vicious. Let's see. Where is that? Sin, just back up. Yeah, let's see, was it Windows backup? Somebody, I don't know if it was Sin Vicious or somebody else, but somebody else had, I think it was a comment on a video. Somebody had said that, had said that Norton was going to stop using people's computers for crypto mining. The impression I got from that comment was that Norton was using people's computers without their knowledge for doing crypto mining. And I thought there's no way they can get away with that. And that's what I said during one of the Windows Daily shows in response to that comment. And then I think it was Sin Vicious, might have been somebody else, sent me this link that gave more information. Norton LifeLock to end antivirus crypto mining due to Ethereum merge. The company will disable the function on September 14th. And I had no idea that they were doing this, but yes, but they weren't, what they did, customers who mined with us can continue to access any balance they earned mining with Norton, Avira, crypto through their wallet. What happened is they had made that available to their customers to use it if they chose to help earn back the cost of the Norton antivirus product. And my deduction there, no thanks. Oh, here, the company introduced the mining function for its Norton 360 product a year ago, so it wasn't very long, to help its customers capitalize on then soaring cryptocurrency market. Norton LifeLock also claimed the miner served a security purpose, pointing to how many users had been downloading unvetted and potentially malicious crypto mining programs to their PCs. So the way they were claiming that this is a security benefit to our customers is because we're preventing them from using somebody else's crypto mining software, which we are claiming isn't as secure. My takeaway from this is it was just a desperate grab for Norton to try to be relevant in a day and age when Windows Defender does the job fine of protecting our computers. But now they're stopping that because of something about the Ethereum merge. And this was a September 8th, 2022 article. So I wanted to bring this to the audience, preferably when Sin Vicious, if it was him, was present with us, to acknowledge that I eat my words, because I was sure that Norton wasn't doing that at all. All right, so bring in Zoom. And hello to Alex Cheek. Surprise, surprise, I just jumped right to you. Hello, Alex. You're muted. Are you going to say hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. I didn't want to accidentally interrupt you when you were talking. So
thank you. That's a thumb weird. Somehow my thumb looked weird. Anyway, did you have anything to bring to the table? Any news in your world?
Really, just one little thing I thought of. Yesterday afternoon, sitting around doing nothing. You know my dad took on this new church and all that.
Yeah.
And I still don't have access to their Wi-Fi because it's some random name and password that's not the same as the one that's already on the back of the router on the sticker.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I just it's one of them. I didn't think about this sooner, but on an Android phone, it's actually very easy to see the existing Wi-Fi password on an Android phone, and it will give you a QR code so you can scan the QR code on another phone. So because they want me to transfer the videos from their church cell phone to a flash drive or whatever to put on a disk or whatever they want me to do with them. It'd be very easy for me to get their Wi-Fi password, even though no one knows it.
Okay.
But I still plan on changing it at some point. But it's just one of them things. I wish I would have figured that out, a week ago.
All right. Well, I have two additional comments on that. Is just to let you know that iPhone will also show you the Wi-Fi password of a Wi-Fi that the phone is connected to, and I just double checked that on my own phone to be sure that's still the case. And the other thing is that if you have Ethernet access to the router, and if you can log in to the interface of the router, you can click to find it'll display the Wi-Fi password there for you.
Yeah.
You may or may, if they've changed the router password and you don't have
See,
that, then that'd be a problem.
Ken can attest to this. They're using the default AT&T router that AT&T provides, because Ken also has fiber optic through AT&T just the same as the church does. And so what they did for Ken is, I figure the same thing AT&T did for the church is when AT&T came out and upgraded the church's router from whatever older model to this newer model router. They probably did some Wi-Fi password migration.
Right.
So people's names, people that already had their name and password programmed in their phone previously on the older router, didn't have to change any information in their phone.
Yeah.
So now, because it's not the original password from the factory state of this current router they have, no one knows what it is.
Yeah. Now I heard somebody. I heard some conversation about the security of the Wi-Fi, and I did not hear a conversation about whether you care about the security of the Wi-Fi, because people who come into the church, it's quite possible you might want them to be able to use the Wi-Fi, and if there's any computers on the network that you don't want a hacker type to be trying to infiltrate, then you might want to have a second Wi-Fi SSID set up that is firewalled from the computers that are in the place.
Yes.
Are you going to be allowing the attendees to use Wi-Fi? Do you know?
Yes. But what I may do, and since they'll actually have me controlling it, now what I may do is I may have, the main Wi-Fi set up for the computer at the church or whatever the devices we happen to have, and then I may turn on the guest Wi-Fi connection or something, but whatever. Of course, I still don't have a password, but I don't want to make it some. And it's what my mom and dad were telling me the other day. And I don't make it some 48 character, really complicated password, even though I know that's the best practice for that kind of stuff. But when you're telling somebody, when you need to tell somebody what the password is, you don't want to have to tell them, question mark, exclamation mark.
Right. You want to make it reasonable, particularly for the guest network, but even for the internal network that's just for the staff and the people who are trusted. I think it's reasonable to give a password that you can pronounce, maybe add a special character or an uppercase. It's probably plenty sufficient. And then maybe also you might be interested once in a while to log into the router and see what devices are connected, just to have an idea of how much, is it being utilized? Are people making use of that benefit?
And also, there's a whole bunch of houses around the church, and all of the neighbors have their own Wi-Fi, because like when I'm in either part of the church and you open up your Wi-Fi on your phone, it shows like you can see like a dozen networks.
Sure.
Literally, because there's houses all around. And I'm not particularly concerned about the neighbors hacking into the Wi-Fi or somehow getting it if it was like unsecured, because like everybody is paying for their own, it appears.
All right. Go ahead, William.
You could make the guest password for Sundays guests, turn it on at church service beginning, turn it off after it's over with.
Yeah.
Settings in the router.
Well, I was kind of thinking the other way around. Maybe when it's time for the sermon to start, you turn it off. maybe Alex's dad doesn't want them browsing around on the internet during his sermon.
No, actually, don't want that, especially as a preacher, because you can tell. But that don't mean that they can't use their cell phone data, because we get full service of cell phone data there too. So there's nothing I can do about it.
You can't control that. And actually, on that side, if you're allowing them access to the Wi-Fi during the service, might be interesting to even see the amount of traffic that's going through during the sermon. Maybe he doesn't want to see.
I would hope it would just be like my live stream traffic coming from the computer if we ever live stream it, or stuff I needed for the cameras. Because right now I was planning on using my cell phone as a Wi-Fi camera back to my computer, so that would be just about the only traffic.
I've been aware that some churches have experimented with, and I don't know how well it's worked out for them, actually encouraging the congregation for people to like post certain comments on their own Facebook pages in response to what the preacher is talking about. You know, maybe they're sending out good vibe messages on their Facebook page, and maybe saying something about what's going on at the church, and where they're actually getting the people to use their phones and in a participatory way rather than as a distraction. All right, let me go catch up a little bit with chat. John Williams.
I think Josh has something to say.
Oh, did he?
Hey, Doug,
all right. Go ahead.
If you have an iPhone, if you go into your Wi-Fi phone, you can actually look up your password.
I believe I said that about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, I didn't hear.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask Doug, on an iPhone, does that apply to only the Wi-Fi you're currently connected to, or all previous networks that you have connected to in the past?
Well, I can answer that because I do connect to a lot of my clients' Wi-Fi networks, and I know in the past I have seen the ability to see Wi-Fi's that I'm not near, meaning at client's Wi-Fi that I'm not near. But right now, it looks like I'm only able to see what I am near. But I think there might be a place to do that, to see what Wi-Fi I can. Oh, here it is. Yes. When I'm on the Wi-Fi, let's see, can I... Yeah, I'll show this. I'm just going to show this on camera, although I don't have autofocus, so that's not going to work very well. But anyway, on an iPhone, it's showing my networks and other networks, but in the upper right, there's a edit. So if I touch edit, then it shows me dozens of Wi-Fi's, and I'm recognizing them immediately as client Wi-Fi's and Wi-Fi's that I'm not near. Then when I press the letter I and then touch the password field, it does display the password. So there's the answer. Yes. Wi-Fi's that you have connected to that you're not near, you can look up that password if your phone has been connected to it before. All right, now I'll go catch up with chat. RAN Israel, most routers today support guest network. And since we know, I think Josh said that this, Alex said that this is a recent router.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can give you the exact model number. It is the AT&T ATW.
Yeah, don't need it. Thank you. John Williams, YouTube said I had to disable ad blocker, and if I did not, I would only be able to watch 3 videos. So I did disable ad blocker, and now they send me info on new videos to watch that I used to. YouTube wants the cake and eat it too. That you used to watch. All right. YouTube said I had to disable ad blocker, and if I did not, I would only be able to watch 3 videos. Yeah, your mileage may vary. YouTube has been different people have had different experiences in regards to this, and this looks like the most strict experience of it. And at least one other person in the community is having this experience, I think, where if you don't disable your ad blocker, you're only going to be able to see 3 videos at a time, or then exit and go back in. I don't know. So we did disable the ad blocker, and now they send info on new videos to watch that I used to watch. Videos that I used to watch. Yeah, I was confirming that's what it was. So while the ad blocker was active, he was not being suggested those videos. That's weird. Jim says, my guest Wi-Fi network is called US Vaccine Chip Activator, just to screw with people. Nice. John Williams, YouTube wants their cake and eat it too. Well, yeah, I know. They want, I think it's reasonable of them to be trying to earn money from what they're doing. They're providing entertainment, they're providing a platform for content creators, and it is based primarily on advertisement. People that won't pay for the service and won't watch the ads are basically freeloading. And they have to raise they have to raise prices to everyone who is paying in order to survive as a company. And YouTube is being aggressively sued by advertisers due to invalid views where the advertisers have been charged for views that haven't actually been happening by real people. They're trying to tighten their ship. They've been a long time letting people consume their content without paying for it, like you have to on other services. So they're trying to tighten their ship. Now, I'm not gonna argue that one way or the other, but I think they're well within their rights for what they're doing. Alex?
I was going to say, I don't think, at least for the foreseeable future, I don't think they're going to come after me as hard as they have most people. And that's because I have gotten a message that says ad blockers are not allowed on YouTube, but it will just let me click the X and still continue to watch the video. But that's only happened a couple of times. But I don't think they're going to come after me as hard as most people, because I watch videos on my phone, on my tablet, and on my TV too, on my smart TV. And on all 3 of those devices, I do not have the option to block the ads through an ad blocker. So I'm still being forced to watch YouTube ads on those 3 devices, but not on the actual computer.
Yeah. Well, they haven't told us how they are selecting who gets what level of warnings and such, but they have told us that it's experimental. So if the efforts that they're doing on the ones that are getting the hardcore experience, ones that are getting the medium experience, I'm guessing that they're going to decide which way they want to go, and they'll expand that approach, is what I'm anticipating. But we're just along for the ride. It's their show. Then, okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, your buffering is totally black and buffering.
All right. Well, I don't have any dropped frames. Is anybody else in chat getting buffering, or is that an Alex issue? Maybe it's YouTube trying to punch back at Alex when he's saying, I don't think they're going to go after me as hard.
I don't see
Oh,
any on my end.
I just refreshed the page. It's
All right.
working now.
All right, that's usually what does it. Okay, moving on in chat. Let me catch up here. How sophisticated is this router that Alex is going to set up? He's not going to set up the router. The router's already set up. All he's doing is dealing with the Wi-Fi. And it's the router that was provided by AT&T, he's told us. I think a lot of the settings you guys are talking about are not on your average router. I think guest networks are pretty common now. I would also limit bandwidth, or at least think about it. If the church and certain people need a certain amount of bandwidth, you need to keep that open for them. But again, bandwidth limitations are only on higher end routers as far as I know. Your guest password should be something that church people will understand. You could pick maybe something out of the Bible, or password maybe an apostle. And Israel to Jim. Mine's called Connection Failed. John Williams videos that I used to watch. Yeah, I got that. Jim still hasn't had his first warning. My original SSID was infectious from Lone Dog. My neighbor SSD is extreme virus. John Williams, however, they get some pay for each video you watch. However, they get some pay for each video you watch. Who are you referring? Are you referring to the advertisers? And they're not. YouTube is not paying for watch time unless they are receiving money from advertisers or paid support, paid viewers. So even a non-monetized channel, YouTube is earning money from, as long as they are showing some form of advertisement. If they're not showing any form of advertisement, then the only money YouTube is getting for those are people who are using paid YouTube accounts. It is clear when you look through the analytics that YouTube does have very detailed figures on how much money a specific video earns and how much money they're paying to a specific YouTube content creator. And it is not the same across the board. I've done quite a bit of look at that. They don't tell us all the detail about how it's determined. Okay, Gary, I'll come to you in a minute. Long Dog never heard that YouTube or Google has not been profitable. By the way, how much profit do they need to not be socialists or any other limiting factor? Okay, well, if you get sued for multiple millions of dollars, that affects your profitability. They can't be sued for money and have to pay it out, and you still think they're making the same amount of money. It doesn't work that way. Pebbles, simply refresh the browser page. YouTube ad blocker is bypassed. Limits, let's see, moving on. What else? Can of worms. Nope, no buffering, everything's fine. Alex, I think, Gary, I'm coming to you pretty soon. Use YouTube Premium, all good, fine here, no issues, no buffering. Doug, informative show as always from Speedy C, thank you. Zavi Menor, yesterday at Carrie's there was a picture and sound disconnection, not for everyone. I tried using a VPN with European address in the Opera browser in private mode, and I was able to see and hear. Picture and sound connection, not disconnection, not for everyone. And he was able to fix that with VPN European address. I went back to normal, canceled the blocker, and the sound and picture came back. I returned the blocker and the situation remained normal. My two-year-old entry-level TP-Link router has guest option. Yeah, I did understand what you meant by Carrie. I did autocorrect in my head. Ida, do you know that Carrie is a kind of turtle mainly found in the Caribbean? Now my current SSID is toaster oven. I named my Wi-Fi OPSEC, surveillance van number 42. Very good, Sin Vicious. Gary, coming over to you. Hello, Gary.
Hello.
How are you today?
Doing fine.
University plagiarism is unacceptable work. Program. No, university : plagiarism is I feel like I'm missing a piece, something at the top of that, and the bottom of that. Plagiarism is unacceptable. Work, program. Yeah, I don't get it.
Programmers copy each other.
Programmers copy each other? Oh, plagiarism. Yeah. Oh, okay, of course. Do you have any comments, anything to bring to the table?
Well, a quick YouTube comment that you guys are talking about. Remember, there's two things. I may not want my ads on your video too, also. So you may be like you. As an example, I think one of the folks earlier said they saw a political ad.
Yeah.
That has to be local. It's because where I'm at, we actually get for the upcoming local election if they can identify you. Number two, they may not want, on this or that channel. So that's one thing. But here's the biggie, and I get some of this into perspective because I have some of Google stock. They explain how much they're putting in data farms because there's people uploading videos that nobody's watching. I mean, I've seen some that are a tree. They watch a tree grow literally for 6 hours a day.
Now, okay, you said that something about beta farms, people uploading videos that nobody wants. Say again?
Go ahead. Data, D-A-T-A.
D-A-T-A. Videos that nobody watching. Yeah, it's easy to upload videos, and I mean, if you make them private or even unlisted, nobody ever watches them. It's a head scratcher to me about the resources that YouTube makes available to people to upload and occupy their resources without any earnings to them. Now, about the trees growing, yeah, I've seen lots of videos that why would anyone watch this? And I've seen some of those that get a lot of views, strangely. Like there's a channel out there that just shows solid color live stream for multiple hours and has tons of watch time. And the theory, I heard somebody explain that is that some people use that as just a background color. And then Ken Stout tried to replicate that success. Didn't work so well.
My other question would be, are people looking to see if something's going to happen and it really doesn't happen?
Yeah, right.
Waiting for the train wreck that never happens.
Now, I'm not sure I quite grasped all of what you were saying there about what you get information from Google about. I think you said server farms or video farms.
No, they have prospectus. If you're a stockholder, send out. All companies send prospectus out.
Sure. And
they say how much you're spending on data farms monthly.
Oh, okay, data farms. Okay, data farm. They're server farms.
Right. Yeah. How much you're spending?
Okay.
Google, to make Google, YouTube, all their platforms better. How they're investing their funds. So we should keep investing in them.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure they were continually adding new server farms and increasing them. Right.
Amazon tells about new fleets of trucks they're getting for vans for delivery, electrical, and robots.
I think Amazon themselves has their own server farms, don't they?
Yeah, AWS.
Say again?
AWS.
Yeah, AWS. Yeah, Amazon Web Services. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's also their internal services now.
Yeah.
And fun fact about Amazon, there is a guy, but he owns the company that's worth about $5 to $10 billion because he was one of the instrumental people in designing their warehousing system. That's how much they have paid this company. It was like one guy that started it, bar Amazon.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It's entirely believable. Yeah. Now that AWS, you can actually get an account on AWS and start up your own virtual machines through their service. It costs money, and Microsoft has the same service.
Sure.
So what does Microsoft call their service? I almost got it.
Azure.
Azure, yeah. And they are the two top providers in web computing, online computing. Is that the right term? I think I'm
Yep,
saying that right.
yes.
Yeah.
Or cloud computing.
Cloud computing. There you go. That's a better term. And I did try it out. I tried out Azure, and I had set up they were offering trial accounts to technicians. So I tried that out a bit.
I like the idea of cloud. We do not use it.
Yeah.
The problem is, like I capture data at work at every point, and we're up and down just banging on it, and they charge for the transaction also.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I transaction at every machine and every operation.
Yeah.
So if a machine breaks, we know there's a problem.
I set up one of my clients to use Azure backup from their server. And it started out, we were paying like $30 a month. And each month that was growing, like it seemed exponentially. We got up close to $100 a month in just a few months. And so I canceled that because they were going to be charging for what is stored on their system, as well as they had the bytes of that's being backed up. They had a breakdown of all the pieces of how they were charging us for that, and it was craziness.
We have petabytes, and we take iterations of even CAD data that we save for quite a few years, and that's just storage hogs. And backing up machines. I mean, and the neat thing that we do now with most of our machines is if there's we can actually change a lot of the things on the fly. If we have something coming back from production from one of our customers, and they say, we have this hitting this, let's say it's 2, we can hit the machine and actually change it mid-course. If it doesn't cause an issue with, in other words, you can do that. I mean, let's say, we don't do alternators, but let's say you did an alternator. You can't change, let's say, the output significantly, or you got to make a whole production change. But you may have a case that rubs, and it doesn't cause a recall, but you just change it in the production. And we do stuff like that right now. That's how Tesla does theirs. Tesla actually will change internal things on the fly, weekly, daily. If you call, or not you, but if they find out they're having an issue with something on the steering gear, they will change it in production today. They don't go. Yeah, they're.
I actually take a while.
I actually got a 2-second Elon Musk story. We were at a meeting for 2 days, and I sat with Elon Musk for 3 hours. I'm a fountain pen addict. I have multiple fountain pens, well, tons. He wrote with a fountain pen, and I remember in high school, there was this girl who would sign everybody. She'd have a boyfriend, and she'd sign his last name. Cindy Lou Who Smith, Cindy Lou Who Jones. He wrote his name on a piece of paper about 40 times with my pen. He asked to use it. You don't ever write with a fountain pen without asking. He wrote his name and handed the pen and the paper to me. And as I went to take the pen, he crumpled the paper and pulled it back.
He crumpled the paper and what?
Pulled the paper back.
Pulled the paper back.
Yeah, like he was offering me his autograph, and he pulled it back and crumpled it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why, but he just started laughing. Everybody around the table laughed. And then I took out a microfiber cloth and cleaned the pen for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Everybody, it was just fun. No big deal.
All right.
But he's writing his name, all kinds of different ways, just playing with it. And then he hands the paper and the pen and pulls the paper back. Like, I'm not giving you an autograph.
All right.
I don't know why he did that, but.
Yeah, that seems odd.
It was about autonomous driving vehicles is what the conference was.
Yeah.
Oh, and you guys are talking about, I've had mine running about an hour because I was like, we had a problem at Temple today. I've had out of 85,000 frames at 1080p, I've had 35 drop frames.
For watching this show?
Yeah, for an hour.
Oh, that's curious. Yeah, I'm showing 0 drop frames.
1080p?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I see the bit rate is variable. And when I started this show, it said my bit rate was being changed. That's something that I don't understand what it's doing. But right now, bit rate 5923, 5865, 5887, 5859. It's varying. That seems weird to me.
Yeah, same here.
All right. Well, I'm about ready to shut things down, and there was something that was on my mind while you were talking, and I tried to dismiss it from my mind so I could focus on what you were saying, and now I don't remember what that was. See there? Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. I use Magnus Box for cloud backup for many of my clients. And it's amazing to me when we talk about the charges from AWS and from Azure, how much they charge, that I can configure these backups to keep forever, meaning it keeps all the backups, does not delete old backups, keep them forever, and there's no additional cost. It's a flat rate per month, and it's a very affordable rate. And so that's a head scratcher to me how they're doing it, because I know Magnus Box is a fairly small business. I think the owner, I think his name is Mike, and he has like 3 or 4 employees now. And so the cloud services that he's using, I know there's multiple different sites. He's got to be, renting space from some other service provider. How could it be that inexpensive? And
that's hard to believe.
Yeah. I've been using that for, I don't know, a couple of years, and I've got maybe a dozen clients on it.
Well,
so yeah, I don't get it.
With tape backups back in the day, reel-to-reel tapes,
yeah,
they used to only charge, they didn't charge for storage, they charged for recall until they found out that a lot of people weren't having the needs to get their tapes back.
Yeah, and as far as I know, I don't think there's any additional charge for restoring. And when I was talking earlier about doing a test restore, I've been needing and wanting to do that, to do a test restore from this Magnus Box.
At home, I back up my PCs, clone them once a weekish. I mean, the data's on the server at home, but changes and updates on, it's just, PCs that we use at home. But at work, I don't care if you trash your PC, it's easier to reload because all 100% data is on servers. So your PC is strictly a reach. So at that point, and there's no toys, no games, there's nothing on there except ours. So every machine is the same, even if you're working from home. But our biggest problem is making sure you don't get into something, because if you get into something and your neighbor doesn't like it, we have lawsuits. You watch the wrong political movie at work.
All right. Well, I think we've covered plenty of ground, and it's time for me to move on with my day. So I want to thank you all for participating in the Zoom session. I'll ask you to say goodbye to the audience, please.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
All right, and closing Zoom. Punch my button here to bring me back up on screen. And I have been watching chat there. I'm not going to catch up on reading it into the video, but I'm going to read those a little bit closer because I'm trying to keep my attention on the conversation. All right, if you'd like to send a question by email for me to respond to during a subsequent show, you can use that email address. You can put a comment on any of my videos. You can ask a question in chat room. I'm getting hesitation right now. The video image that I'm looking at, it's freezing once in a while. I'm still showing 0 drop frames. I'm moving back and forth. There, froze. Now going back, froze. And then I'm moving. Little glitch. The froze again. Ah, weird. Noisting says they're buffering. Yeah, people are seeing buffering too. But drop frames is 0, so there's something else going on here. And that only happened after closing Zoom. And while Zoom was still on, it was working fine. Take the email address off the screen. Yeah, it's still freezing. Oh, but that's weird. The Doug going down the elevator is not freezing. So I'm moving back and forth. There's a glitch. But the elevator Doug's still moving. It's a different scene. Okay, the camera is on me. The Dougs in the background are separate scenes. They're not camera. All right. Hit the button, Doug. Get out of here. That's enough. We're done with you. Goodbye. Have a good day. Have a good weekend, everybody. Goodbye.